About 15 or 20 years ago, I remember being in a store and striking up a conversation with a random stranger. And she said something that stuck with me. Obviously, here it is 2 decades later. It was simply this. She said, I'm invisible. And I was approximately 40, 45 at the time. I didn't understand why she felt invisible or, how can that be? And I will say she was referring to her decaying looks, her age. Because when she was in her youth, I could tell she was very beautiful. But as age does, we decay because sin is in the world, we decay. Now, physically, I remember going through a period of time where I was actually pretty for a time. I think I've said this in previous videos. I have no secrets anymore, but I was never the pretty girl. I was average. I wasn't ugly, but my daughter broke her nose once and had to go to a plastic surgeon to fix the lump. And the plastic surgeon looked over at me and said, have you ever considered having any work? And I'm literally like, who, me? And he said, yeah, I want to fix your eyes. My eyes genetically sagged down like an elderly person, a positive, happy person. So I was never thought about it, but I said, sure, go ahead. And that one surgery took at least 10 years off of me. Now, here's the reason I'm bringing it up is within months of that happening, I noticed that men would run in front of me and open a door, or they'd make comments, or when I did a seminar, they'd come talk to me at the end of it in ways that they hadn't before. I noticed that I was being noticed. I was being noticed for my looks. Now, here we are 20 years later, however many years have passed, and I, like that woman so many years ago, have begun to decay. It was funny years ago when I would be with my grandchildren and they'd say something like grandma, and people would say one after the other, what? You're a grandma? One man even said, boy, they sure don't make them like they used to. And of course, I, was thinking, yay, me. But it appealed to my vanity. And that has gone away. It doesn't happen anymore when people say grandmother. Now I'm at the age of, you want the senior discount? Yes, I'll take the senior discount. Now, why do I bring that up? I look at, there's two things. I look at how beauty actually hurts. It makes it easier to sin. It makes it harder to focus on God. Because when I went through that season of my life and I noticed that I was being noticed for my looks, it made me focus more on my looks. I focused more on my body. I focused more on my clothing. I enjoyed the attention. Now, I've never been called, arrogant or, especially vain. Those are things I haven't heard people say about me, though everyone to a degree deals with vanity. But I will tell you, I dealt with it a lot more at that time. And I talked to one of my sisters, and of the three of us girls, I had one sister who was stunning. And my mom even said, even as a baby or a toddler, with the four of us children, people would stop my mom and say, but that one is absolutely beautiful. And I asked her, I said, did you realize you were beautiful? And she goes, oh yeah, I got so much attention for it. And she went through a phase and difficult time of her life, and she gained a lot of weight. And she said it was funny because people stopped looking at me. People stopped paying attention to me. So I go back to that lady who 20 years ago said, I feel invisible. And what comes to me is how much she yearned for the attention. Specifically, I know what she was talking about was of men. It's like my looks are gone, so no one sees me, no one notices me. I'm invisible. Why don't you notice me? And as a human, I know that we want to be wanted. We want the attention of others. But what the Lord has shown me is actually the beauty of decaying, the beauty of losing your looks is that you are no longer looked at for those superficial reasons that hold no bearing in eternity. It reminded me that you really are not invisible to God. Because it makes us, during those times, we pay much more attention, I believe, to God, because no matter how much makeup I put on, no matter how much work I try to do, I'm aging. I'm not going to be noticed. I'm not in the young, beautiful crowd. And I will be honest that aging is hard. It's watching yourself decay, watching yourself get slower, go running. I run slower. My knees hurt more. I'm tired. I take more naps. While to one degree, it's hard to let go of something you used to have. It's not because you're saying, I need that. It's not because you're watching yourself lose something you had. And as I watch myself slide into this new season of my life, it's not just loss, but we do have to grieve loss to a degree, but it's detachment. I have to detach from the worldly things that I used to be attached to, my looks, be attached to the attention of others, be attached to my abilities to get all these things done. I can do this, and then give me another task, I'll get it done. And now the Lord's saying, you can get half as much done as you used to get done 10 years ago, and you need more naps. So you have to cut more things out. You can't do all the things that you did. So, Christine, choose your priorities. So I could spend 2 hours in the gym now building up the muscles that used to take me an hour. I could spend an hour doing my hair when it used to only take me 15 minutes. Or I could just do what I need to do to get past the looks, quickly get my hair done, quickly get the makeup on, work out for the same hour in the gym and take what I can, but start focusing now on the things that will really make me visible to not only God, but to others. Because what really makes you visible is the light of Christ. I know it sounds cliche, but truly, Christ is love. Love is the most attractive force on earth. And when I stop focusing on my looks and my outer appearance, I focus on reading the Bible, I focus on the rosary, I focus on studying the Lord, I focus on going to Mass, I focus on wanting to be more like Him, I become more like Him. And if I become more like Him, His light, not me, the Lord reminds me, it's like, oh, Christine, they ain't looking at you. They're looking at me in you. And the more you have Christ in you, the more visible you become. Ironically, the darker this world, the brighter His light inside of you. Of course, this is assuming you're bringing Him into you. Lord, I want to be more like you. The more you allow Christ's light to shine in you, the more visible you are. What I do know about that lady from the conversation is she didn't know Christ. She wasn't a Christian. I suspect she was more of a universalist, the new agey type of person. Again, this was a conversation we had 20 years ago, and I can't remind you of all the things that were said, but I do remember getting that sense. I thought to myself, you're not invisible. God knows you. Why do you care what other people think? God notices you. So I'll say a quick prayer for that lady, that she realizes that she's not invisible. But if she truly wants to be visible, that she needs to allow Christ into her and then to allow His light to shine through her. And that, of course, is what I'm saying to each of you. I want you to realize you have the opportunity to be not only not invisible, double negatives, I get it, but you can be one of the most visible people in your family, in your church, in your community, if you allow the Lord to guide you. Bring him into your mind. Bring him into your thoughts. Bring him into your heart. No matter how flawed you are, no matter how old you are, no matter how ugly you feel you might be. Tell the Lord, I want them to look at me and see you. And if they look at you and see Christ, I will tell you, you are the most beautiful person on earth. And you're absolutely not invisible. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching this Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.